What if the problem was never that you were too sensitive, but that you grew up emotionally hungry? You had food, clothes, maybe even a normal-looking family. But when you needed comfort, understanding, or someone to truly see you, it felt like knocking on a door that never fully opened. In Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, Lindsay Gibson explains a quiet wound many people carry, growing up with parents who could handle practical duties, but not emotional connection. So the child learns a strange lesson. My feelings are too much. My needs are annoying. Love means staying small. And years later, that child becomes an adult who can work, smile, help everyone else, while still feeling lonely inside. Emotional neglect is not always loud. Sometimes it is the silence where comfort should have been. But this raises an important question. If these parents loved their children, why did they struggle to give them the emotional support they needed? An emotionally immature parent can look powerful from the outside. They may control the house, make the rules, criticize, lecture, or demand respect. But emotionally, they are often like a child wearing an adult coat. They struggle when conversations become deep. They avoid responsibility for hurtful behavior. They may turn every problem back to themselves. Instead of asking, "How did that make you feel?" they ask, "Why are you attacking me?" This does not always mean they are bad people. It means their emotional world is narrow. They may love their child, but they cannot always meet the child where the child is hurting. Imagine bringing them a broken heart, and they respond by handing you a checklist. Did you eat? Did you study? Did you finish your work? Useful questions, maybe, but not the same as comfort. Emotional immaturity is not about age. It is about the ability to notice, handle, and respect emotions. And when the adult cannot carry that emotional responsibility, someone else usually does. More often than not, that someone is the child. When a parent cannot hold emotional responsibility, the child often starts carrying it. The child becomes the peacekeeper, the helper, the invisible therapist of the family. They learn to read the room like a weather forecast. Is Dad angry today? Is Mom sad today? Should I speak, stay quiet, smile, disappear? Instead of asking, "What do I need?" the child asks, "What does everyone else need from me?" This is how many adult children become highly responsible, deeply empathetic, and exhausted. On the outside, people may praise them. "You are so mature. You are so strong. You never complain." But inside, strength can feel like a heavy backpack they never chose to wear. Gibson's message is powerful here. A child should not have to shrink their own heart to manage an adult's emotions. Being mature too early may have helped you survive, but it does not have to define your whole life. Of course, emotionally immature parents do not all look the same. Some are emotional parents. Their feelings fill the house like a storm. Everyone adjusts to their mood. Some are driven parents. They focus on success, image, grades, rules, and achievement. They may push the child forward but rarely ask what the child feels inside. Some are passive parents. They may seem kind, but when real protection is needed, they disappear. The child feels loved sometimes but not safely defended, and some are rejecting parents. They keep distance, avoid closeness, and make the child feel like a burden for wanting connection. Different styles, same result. The child feels emotionally alone. This matters because healing begins with naming the pattern. When you can name the weather, you stop blaming yourself for the rain. Once you understand the type of emotional immaturity you faced, the confusion becomes clearer. And clarity is the first step toward freedom. Seeing the pattern isn't enough. Many adult children stay stuck because they keep waiting for something that may never come. Many adult children carry a secret hope. One day my parent will finally understand. One day they will apologize in the exact words I need. One day they will become the warm, wise, loving parent I always imagined. Gibson calls attention to this painful inner hope, the healing fantasy. It is like standing at a locked door for years, holding flowers, believing that if you knock gently enough, explain clearly enough, behave perfectly enough, the door will open. But emotionally immature people often cannot give what they do not have. That does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop building your life around waiting. This is a hard truth, but also a freeing one. Because the moment you stop trying to earn impossible love, you can start giving real care to yourself. Healing often begins when you stop asking, "How do I make them change?" and start asking, "How do I protect my peace?" The interesting part is that people do not all respond to emotional neglect in the same way. Childhood teaches different survival strategies, and Gibson says two patterns appear again and again. Gibson describes two common ways children respond to emotional loneliness. Some become externalizers. When life hurts, they look outside for blame, rescue, or control. They may expect others to fix the problem. Others become internalizers. When life hurts, they look inside and ask, "What did I do wrong? How can I improve? How can I make this better?" Internalizers often become thoughtful, hard-working, and self-aware. But they can also become magnets for emotionally immature people because they keep trying to understand, repair, and forgive, even when the other person takes no responsibility. Imagine two people carrying a sofa. The internalizer keeps lifting their side higher, thinking, "Maybe if I try harder, this will balance." But relationships need two lifters. The lesson is not to become selfish. The lesson is to stop taking responsibility for everyone else's emotional furniture. Self-reflection is healthy, but self-blame is not. You can be kind without carrying what belongs to someone else. Once you realize which pattern you naturally fall into, another question appears. If you cannot change emotionally immature people, then what does healing actually look like? Emotional independence does not mean cutting everyone off or becoming cold. It means your inner peace no longer depends on getting emotional maturity from people who repeatedly cannot offer it. Instead of entering every conversation hoping, "Maybe this time they will understand me," you enter with realistic expectations. You stop bringing your wounds to people who treat feelings like evidence. You stop explaining pain to someone who only wants to win. This is not revenge. It is wisdom. You stay polite, you stay kind, but you keep your distance. You no longer give them the steering wheel of your emotional life. Think of it like building a fence around a garden. The fence is not hatred. The fence protects what is growing. Emotional independence means accepting reality, setting boundaries, and choosing where your heart is safe. And that is where the book offers its most hopeful idea. Healing is not about getting different parents. It is about becoming a different kind of adult. The most hopeful message of the book is this: your childhood may explain your patterns, but it does not have to imprison your future. Healing is choosing honesty, choosing respect, choosing yourself. Small moments, quiet boundaries. You become the adult your younger self needed. Not untouched by the past, but finally loyal to yourself.